Okay, this next experience is fatness, or expansion of body and or mind. And this may not happen to everybody or even most people. I have talked to a few people that it happened to, so it's not a totally unique experience on my part. It does happen to other people. So if you watched the previous video, I talked about when your breathing slows down, and then your mind is blank. Your mind is not moving. It senses. It can still pull in information from the senses, but it doesn't work in the same way anymore. It's kind of like somebody explained it as unlinked, which means it doesn't really link up things that you hear, like an airplane going overhead. It doesn't link that up as airplane. It doesn't pull from the memory and say, what is that? It's airplane. It doesn't answer that question. It more notices, and that's all. So this happens, this feeling of fatness or body expansion, mind expansion, really it's body expansion, much more so. I guess I'll talk about body expansion, because mind expansion, I was going to talk about it in the same video, but it's actually a different time that happens. So body expansion happens when the mind has stopped and there's no movement of mind. You're no longer focusing on the breath, really. And how it happens for me is that the mind has stopped, not focusing on breath. I feel like a tingling in my hands or my feet to start with, and this is I guess this is a sign, like a nimitta or nimitta, whatever. I don't know how Buddhists pronounce it or say it. I barely know what it is, but some Buddhist teachers talk about visual nimittas as something that you're supposed to look at and go into. Usually it's a dot, of some sort that grows, like a circle or a shape that grows in size. It might be white or yellow or blue or something. And many teachers tell students to see that in their meditation, and many students, I think, never see that, and they think something's wrong. Myself, I didn't know anything about that, so I didn't even know. I didn't know what nimitta was. I didn't know I was supposed to be looking for anything and go into anything like that. So what I did was, when my mind stopped, when my breathing, when I was no longer focusing on the breathing, and when I felt tingling in my fingers or in my feet, I changed my focus to look at that and to just feel it. Not look at it from the outside, but feel it from the inside, if that makes any sense. And what happened then is that the tingling starts to go, it's actually turning everything numb. Like it tingles just for a bit, and then it starts to turn numb, and I'm tracing you can't see that, but I'm tracing my hand up my arm. Everything starts to become numb, from the fingertips up the arm, to the shoulders, to the chest, to the neck, and then down, to your torso, to your legs, and to your feet, unless, it started at your feet. And then it moves upward that way. It can be in your hands and your feet at the same time. So it might start, two places and then move, across your body until everything is numb. And what happens when everything is numb? You don't feel your body at all anymore. There is no body, and that might be scary to some people. It was scary to me at first, because like I said, I didn't know what was going on at all. So it was scary for me. And it took me a while to not understand what's going on, but just to let it go and let it happen. And so when you let it go and you realize you're completely numb, at that point you may feel the body swell. Like I felt every part of my body expand outward slowly, very slowly, like it was growing or getting fat. But it expanded and never stopped. Well, it stopped later. But the feeling was that it expanded beyond the confines of the room, beyond the confines of the housing complex here, beyond the confines of the town and the city and the state and the nation and the world, and beyond all that. It was a feeling that I was big. It wasn't a feeling that we had merged with everything yet, but that comes later. Not we merge with everything, I merge with everything. But, so it's a very bizarre feeling. I mean, if you've never felt yourself get fat within a few minutes and become as big as, you know, a house and a country, it can be overwhelming and it can be scary, I guess. And but really, there's no harm in it. It's just one of the things that happens after your mind stops. Really, when the mind stops, it's so amazing. It's what happens. It's you know, beyond words. I can't possibly describe to you what the fatness feeling felt like. You have to actually experience it. And for me, I'll mention this because even though you don't meditate yet, or even though you're just starting to meditate, you might already have this fatness feeling, because I had it as a child as I was growing up. Whenever I woke up from sleep in the morning, and it didn't happen all the time, it was once a week or a couple of times a week when I was young, but I had this fatness feeling. My mind was completely still already, and my mind was growing, and my head was growing, and it felt like my hands were numb, were getting fat, and were expanding, you know, from all areas of the skin outward, you know, to grow in size and thickness. But everything was getting like that, like big, and as a child, you know, I didn't know what was going on. I couldn't understand, why is this happening? You know, I ran it by a bunch of friends, I ran it by my family, nobody ever had that experience, you know, so I shut up about it, but it happened often, and it was very odd. But I realized as I got into meditation and I hit that stage where thought stops, and then I felt the body expand like that, I wanted to like shake myself and go, wow, that's it! I just repeated it, you know, I just repeated this feeling that had been like haunting me from the time I was a little kid. I had no idea what that was, and what it was apparently my mind had you know, stopped naturally, you know, as a result of sleep, and just coming out of sleep and in that transition mode between mind not doing anything and then sensing what is around me and things like that, and then apparently it just happened on its own. So that may happen to you, and it would be amazing to hear from somebody if it is happening to you now, or if it happened to you as a child or whatever. That's part of the reason I'm doing these videos, is try to get some feedback from other people about your experiences, either during meditation or even, you know, something like this. So that is the fatness feeling, or the expansion feeling, and maybe you won't get it. I don't think everybody gets it for sure, but for some reason I got it, and it's quite a strange feeling. Alright, I guess go see the next video. Cheers.